Headed up to the gate now. Our first rider to test will be entry number 104. This is 104, Thea Chafee. Our first of 4 to test. There will be no numerical score given to our top 4 testing. Here we have our first rider of 4 testing now. She's over the first fence. They jumped the first 5 jumps that they jumped in the first round. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then number 9 and a hand gallop to 10. So they're leaving out the trot element and the 2 combinations that they had in the first round. And here we see our first rider, Thea, rolling back now to the grass-railed oxer. And now she'll approach fence number 9. And she jumps that, and then a left-hand turn as she rolls back now, and we'll see her pick up the hand gallop. A lot of these kids, some of them, as I said before, hand gallop. Others have been more conservative. Her horse, she does a lead change there, coming down and finds the last jump nicely, and pulls up here at the gate. And that's our first of our 4 riders testing on another rider's horse. So a bit of a challenge here for these riders as they've never been on those horses. Number 112 is going to be testing next, Victoria Press, and they will start their 2-minute preparation, flat work plus 2 warm-up jumps that each rider is allotted here, and they'll be joining us in just a minute. And we'd like to thank our platinum sponsors for our Brandywine Valley Series, our sponsors for 2014, of course, our presenting sponsor, Taylor Harris Insurance, the worldwide leader in equine insurance, the insurance specialist. Also, Johnson Horse Transportation, getting our equine athletes to competitions around the United States safe and sound. For over 25 years, Johnson Transportation, the leader in the equine transport industry. And of course, Caroline Moran and Goshen Hill Farm. Caroline is a longtime supporter of equestrian sports in the United States, gives back to many competitions and events, and we're very proud to have Caroline Moran and Goshen Hill Farm as one of our platinum sponsors for 2014. We've got our next to test headed in now, 112, Victoria Press, 112. Here we see our first rider coming in. One of the challenges about sitting on a horse that you don't know is that you haven't had the time to practice and build a bond with this horse. And a good approach to the first jump. Of course, these riders a little bit blind as they come into this round here. They don't know how much stride a horse may have. They only get to take 2 jumps in the warm-up ring and 2 minutes of flat work before they have to hop on course here. Understanding each horse, how they do a lead change is also very important. And here we see Victoria now rolling back to jump 9, and then they'll have the hand gallop as she takes a turn to the right after number 9 and has the long hand gallop home now to fence number 10. Top 10 need to be prepared to return for the award ceremony. The additional 6 riders in our top 10 should be prepared to return. That'll be Yasmin Rizvi, Kate Ross, Victoria Colvin, Kristen Moore, Piper Benjamin, and Emma Kurtz. Our 6 riders not involved in the test. We'll ask you to be mounted and ready to return at the in-gate next, please. After 2 more to test. And we've seen our first 2 testing here. Of course, one of the challenges for riders that have not sat on these horses is that they only get 2 minutes in the warm-up ring to jump 2 jumps and do a little bit of flat work, and they don't have the bond that the rider has with the horse that they just have gotten on. Of course, they may not know how a particular horse likes to set up for a lead change, how the horse's stride is, and those are very important factors here in the equitation ring as lead changes and stride adjustment factor into the test. And so it's a testament to these riders' ability to be able to hop on a horse that's basically a foreign ride for them and come into the ring and do a test in this kind of a setting. Not only do they have the pressure of being in the Hunterdon Cup, but to have to ride someone else's horse is a true testament to these riders' ability. And we'll see our next now. Entry number 223 headed in. It's Ashton Alexander, our first of 2 left to test now in the work-off. Here we see Ashton Alexander. She's rolling back now to fence number 9. Over 9, and now the turn back home and the hand gallop to the last fence, fence number 10. The pressure's mounting here as we're coming down to our final rider, Caitlin Boyle, who leads after our 2 rounds here. And a nice ride to the last jump for Ashton Alexander. She finds a good spot over the Oxer, number 10, and out through the gate. And we'll now await our final rider to test here, Caitlin Boyle. Caitlin had a 92 and an 89 in the 2 rounds preceding our work-off. So good ride so far for the top 3 as we await our final rider to work off. Caitlin Boyle had a 92 in the first round and an 89 in the second round, and she now has her 2-minute period to flat and to jump 2 obstacles out in the warm-up ring. And she will be returning momentarily, and then we'll be crowning our champion and recognizing our top 10 here in our 2014 Hunterdon Cup. And our final rider to work off now is headed towards the gate. It'll be our final entry in the work-off this evening before we crown our champion in the 2014 Hunterdon Cup. And our final rider joins us here. Not only are we watching ringside at Devon, but a cast of thousands on the internet right now watching our work-off here in the Hunterdon Cup. Again, the USEF network has had over 10,000 views today online watching our championships. And our final rider to work off will be Caitlin Boyle, number 204. Here we see Caitlin going to the first jump. It's like a good spot to the first fence there for Caitlin, and she now rolls back to fences 2, 3, and 4. over the grass-railed oxer. A little bit snug from my angle, but it's hard for me to see this far away. And up to the Swedish oxer. She'll sit back and take a nice rollback turn here to the grass-railed oxer at fence number 5. And now to the natural vertical fence number 9. Caitlin's very workmanlike, keeps her body very still, and classic rider she is. Caitlin Boyle has grown up in a horse family setting. Again, her father manages some of the best competitions in the Illinois show arenas out there in Chicago, and this young rider has grown up around horse shows all her life, and it certainly set in as you watch her ride. Caitlin Boyle wraps up her test. That's going to complete our testing. Our 4 riders that